Baby, I love you, baby. Just come on. Come on. Just come on. I love you.
In the fall of 2019, the city of Atlanta, Georgia continued its vibrant pace of life as a cultural center of the American South. At a rented apartment on McDaniel Street, Alexis Crawford, a promising 21-year-old student at Clark Atlanta University, was steadily working toward completing her academic journey. Living in the apartment with Alexis was Jordan Jones, also 21, her close friend since high school. The two had shared many memories and spent their college years together at the university's historic campus. Their friendship also frequently included Barron Brantley, Jordan's boyfriend. What appeared to be nothing more than an ordinary living space for young adults in the heart of the city was in reality a place where quiet conflicts had begun to build inside the apartment on McDaniel Street, creating fractures that could no longer be repaired in the final days of October 2019. On the night of October 30th, 2019, the tension that had been building inside the apartment on McDaniel Street reached its breaking point. Behind the pretense of a shopping trip at 11 p.m., Jordan Jones and her boyfriend Barron Brantley quietly prepared a ruthless plan to silence Alexis Crawford and prevent her from continuing her sexual assault case. As soon as she returned to the apartment, a heated argument was deliberately provoked. Barron Brantley, who had secretly been hiding there beforehand, suddenly rushed out and attacked. He tackled Alexis to the floor. Caught completely off guard, Alexis bravely fought back with every instinct for survival in a desperate struggle to stay alive. But it was the coldness and brutality of Jordan Jones that delivered the final blow. Instead of stopping the attack or protecting her closest friend, Jordan deliberately joined in. She grabbed a large plastic bag from the room and rushed over, pulling it over Alexis's head. Despite the victim's desperate struggle and frantic attempts to clear her airway for a breath, Jordan forcefully held the plastic bag tightly in place, sealing off the airflow and allowing Brantley to tighten his grip around the victim's neck from behind. If you find this content valuable, don't forget to press the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any compelling true crime case files. Inside the cramped apartment, the coordinated actions of Brantley's brutal chokehold and Jordan's plastic bag depriving Alexis of oxygen quickly extinguished all resistance. The sounds of struggling gradually weakened before falling completely silent. Even after Alexis stopped moving, the two killers remained in the same position for several minutes to ensure that the victim had taken her final breath, bringing to an end a carefully planned and chillingly cold-blooded murder. On the morning of November 1st, 2019, the unusual silence from Alexis Crawford sent her family into a panic. Alexis's mother and sister repeatedly called her phone, but were met only with endless ringing. Alexis's sudden absence from classes at Clark Atlanta University and her complete disappearance from social media were things that had never happened before. Fearing that something terrible had occurred, her family immediately contacted the Atlanta Police Department, APD, to report her mysterious disappearance. As soon as the emergency report was received, concern spread throughout the student community in the area. In stark contrast to the shock and fear shown by the victim's family, her roommate Jordan Jones remained remarkably calm, convincingly playing the role of a worried friend while closely watching every initial move made by law enforcement. Immediately after receiving the missing person report, investigators with the Atlanta Police Department, APD, quickly responded to the apartment on McDaniel Street. From the very first moments after stepping through the door, the officers sensed that something was deeply unusual about the living space shared by the two young women. The apartment appeared to be relatively tidy, but it was filled with the strong odor of cleaning chemicals, a detail that immediately raised the suspicions of the experienced investigators. During a preliminary examination of Alexis Crawford's bedroom, officers found that all of her valuable personal belongings, including her wallet, bank cards, identification, and car keys, were still in their usual places. For a young woman to leave home without these essential items was highly unusual. Suspicion deepened when crime scene technicians discovered that the bedsheet from Alexis's mattress had disappeared without a trace. Freshly cleaned surfaces were observed throughout the bathroom and kitchen, creating the impression that someone had deliberately wiped away every possible stain before the police arrived. The roommate's unusually calm cooperation and her smooth, carefully prepared answers also quickly drew the attention of the investigative team. The scattered clues at the scene, the overwhelming smell of cleaning chemicals, and the unusual absence of certain items to the bare mattress completely ruled out the possibility that Alexis had voluntarily left home. The Atlanta Police Department, APD, immediately secured the apartment and reclassified the case from a routine missing person investigation to a major criminal investigation. The collection of physical evidence at the apartment on McDaniel Street was carried out under strict procedures by the crime scene unit of the Atlanta Police Department, APD. Using forensic techniques, specialists detected concentrated traces of cleaning chemicals on the floor and in the bathroom. Although the surfaces had been cleaned, luminol testing still produced positive reactions for concealed bloodstains beneath the baseboards. The absence of a bed sheet and several large plastic bags from the apartment was confirmed as significant physical evidence. On November 8, 2019, after the body of Alexis Crawford was found inside a plastic container at Exchange Park in DeKalb County, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation Medical Examiner's Office conducted the autopsy. The forensic report documented multiple bruises caused by blunt force trauma to the neck, along with petechial hemorrhages in the eyes and the lining of the mouth. The official cause of death was determined to be mechanical asphyxiation, resulting from a combination of strangulation and airway obstruction. The estimated time of death was between the night of October 30 and the early morning of October 31, 2019, matching exactly the period when the victim last ceased all communication. After the case was reclassified as a major criminal investigation, the Atlanta Police Department, APD, Major Case Unit, launched a wide-ranging investigation to reconstruct the entire timeline and the relationships surrounding Alexis Crawford. At first, investigators considered multiple possibilities, including that the victim had been randomly abducted by a stranger or had voluntarily disappeared due to emotional distress. However, the theory that she had left voluntarily was quickly dismissed when all of Alexis's personal belongings, including her wallet, car keys, and identification, were found untouched inside the apartment. The investigation then focused entirely on those who had the closest contact with the victim before she disappeared. The first major breakthrough came from reviewing official records and phone call history. Investigators discovered that just 3 days before her disappearance, on October 27, 2019, Alexis had filed a sexual assault complaint against Baron Brantley, 21 years old. Notably, Brantley was the boyfriend of Jordan Jones, the victim's roommate and closest friend. The complicated relationship and the conflict sparked by the complaint immediately placed both individuals at the top of the suspect list. To strengthen this investigative direction, digital forensic analysts extracted footage from security cameras, CCTV, around McDaniel Street and nearby roads. Video from a convenience store approximately 2 miles from the apartment confirmed that Alexis was seen with Jordan Jones at 11:30 p.m. on October 30. This was determined to be the last recorded sighting of the victim. After further reviewing traffic camera footage, police discovered that Baron Brantley's vehicle had been parked near the apartment shared by the 2 young women on the night of October 30. This detail directly contradicted Jordan Jones's initial statement, in which she claimed that her boyfriend had never come to the apartment and that she had not seen Brantley that night. At the same time, the Major Case Unit obtained court orders to access cell tower location data and GPS records from the phones of both suspects. Technical analysis revealed that during the early morning hours of October 31st, the phones belonging to Baron Brantley and Jordan Jones traveled together from the apartment area to the remote location of Exchange Park in DeKalb County, more than 10 miles from the crime scene, before returning to the city. The serious inconsistencies between the witness statements and the digital evidence allowed investigators to narrow the investigation completely, confirming the direct involvement of both suspects in the victim's disappearance. On the morning of November 8, 2019, the investigative trap was finally sprung. The Atlanta Police Department, APD, working together with the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office, simultaneously issued emergency arrest warrants for Baron Brantley and Jordan Jones. The operation to arrest Baron Brantley unfolded dramatically on a city street. When he noticed unmarked police vehicles suddenly closing in and blocking his path, Brantley immediately revealed his true intentions. He deliberately attempted to evade officers, resisted arrest, and tried to maneuver his way to escape. However, APD detectives quickly tackled him, bringing him completely under control on the pavement. The sharp click of the handcuffs locking around Brantley's wrists put an end to any further resistance. Meanwhile, the arrest warrant for Jordan Jones was executed at the police station while she was attending a scheduled interview. The carefully constructed image of a grieving and frightened best friend that Jordan had maintained for the previous 8 days collapsed in an instant. As the lead investigator stepped forward, read her Miranda rights, and placed her in handcuffs, Jordan's face turned pale. In stark contrast to the coldness she had shown while helping kill her friend, she completely broke down, trembling and sobbing uncontrollably as she was escorted directly to the Fulton County Jail. At first, Baron Brantley remained defiant, repeatedly giving evasive statements and denying any involvement in Alexis's disappearance. However, before seasoned detectives, every fabricated story quickly unraveled. The investigators did not rush to accuse him. Instead, they calmly presented one piece of digital evidence after another, along with surveillance images. The oppressive silence in the interrogation room, combined with questions focusing on the timeline of the night of October 30, gradually pushed the suspect into a state of panic. The decisive turning point came in Jordan Jones's interrogation room. Under overwhelming psychological pressure and the possibility of facing the death penalty, Jordan's emotional defenses completely collapsed. She burst into tears, lowered her head onto the table, and began to confess. "I never wanted this to happen. Everything got out of control," Jordan admitted through tears. In her psychological collapse, Jordan Jones confessed to the entire crime committed by both of them and personally drew a map leading investigators to the location where the victim's body had been hidden in Exchange Park. The sexual assault forensic examination, rape kit, conducted on October 27, 2019, collected Baron Brantley's DNA from Alexis Crawford's body. In addition, forensic technicians successfully recovered DNA from both suspects on the surface of the plastic bag recovered from the body disposal site and on the collar of the victim's clothing. Cell tower location data confirmed that the phones belonging to Brantley and Jones traveled together from the apartment on McDaniel Street to Exchange Park between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. on October 31, 2019. Furthermore, partially deleted text messages exchanged between the two suspects clearly revealed discussions and coordination after the sexual assault had been reported. The large plastic storage container used to transport the victim's body was confirmed to match the brand and product code of one purchased earlier by Jordan Jones from a retail store. Through the close integration of medical evidence, digital evidence, and physical evidence from the crime scene, the grand jury formally approved the indictment charging both defendants with malice murder, aggravated assault, and concealing the death of another. The trial in the Alexis Crawford case took place under an atmosphere of intense tension in a Georgia Superior Court courtroom. In the presence of the victim's family and a large number of community members, both defendants, Jordan Jones and Baron Brantley, appeared in jail uniforms, keeping their heads down to avoid the angry stares directed at them. During the trial, the defense attorneys attempted to reduce their client's criminal responsibility by arguing that the crime resulted from an emotional panic and requested sentences that would allow the defendants an opportunity for early parole. However, the prosecutors immediately dismantled those arguments. In a forceful presentation, the prosecution emphasized the cold-blooded nature of the crime, the cruel betrayal, and the calculated effort to silence a close friend who had once welcomed Jordan into her life. The emotional climax came when a representative of Alexis Crawford's family delivered a victim impact statement. Tearful sobs and words of anger directed straight at Jordan Jones left the entire courtroom silent with grief. Faced with crimes that could not be forgiven, the judge delivered a powerful condemnation, denouncing the profound moral depravity of both defendants. To avoid the death penalty, both killers were required to accept a plea bargain. Baron Brantley was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole for the charge of malice murder. Jordan Jones received a life sentence, with a minimum of 30 years to be served before becoming eligible for parole consideration. The sharp strike of the judge's gavel echoed through the courtroom, the fateful sound that brought the shocking case to a close. The heavy iron prison doors opened, swallowing the two killers into darkness, where they would spend the rest of their lives facing the consequences of their own crimes. The murder of Alexis Crawford sent shockwaves of grief and outrage throughout the Clark Atlanta University community and across the United States. Numerous candlelight vigils were held on campus, where friends, classmates, and community members gathered to pray for the promising young woman whose life had been cut short. The cruel betrayal by Jordan Jones, the roommate and best friend whom Alexis's family had treated like one of their own, became a deeply disturbing example in discussions about psychology and safety within academic communities. Although both killers were officially sentenced to life imprisonment, the verdict continued to generate divided public opinion. Some believed that accepting a plea bargain, which allowed the two perpetrators to avoid the death penalty, was not a sufficient punishment for the brutality of their crimes. However, for Alexis Crawford's family, the sentence brought a measure of long-awaited peace, even though the emotional wounds and the void left by her loss could never truly be healed. One case has come to an end, but the pain and unanswered questions remain. Has the cruel betrayal of a trusted friend and the price paid behind prison walls truly brought peace to those left behind? In your opinion, was the life sentence imposed on the two perpetrators in this case truly fair, considering everything Alexis Crawford endured? Is there anything about the facts of the case or the court's ruling that still leaves you with questions? Leave your thoughts and share your perspective in the comments below. The tragedy of Alexis Crawford is not merely a murder case recorded in legal files. It is a deep fracture that exposes the darkest and most ruthless aspects of human nature. When the apartment door closed, the line between close friendship and cold-blooded betrayal proved to be terrifyingly thin. The most important lesson left by this case is the need to recognize toxic relationships around us. In life, not every act of jealousy is expressed through words, and not every smile from someone close to us carries good intentions. Blindly placing complete trust in someone, even a longtime best friend, while ignoring emotional warning signs or changes in behavior can place anyone in unimaginable danger. Jealousy and selfishness, when taken to the extreme, can transform a familiar person into someone willing to take everything away. From another perspective, this case stands as a painful example of the irreversible consequences of making the wrong choices. By enabling evil and desperately trying to cover up another person's crime, Jordan Jones went from being a college student with a promising future to becoming a brutal accomplice. One moment of crossing the moral line, one decision to choose cruelty instead of doing what was right, ultimately condemned both young offenders to spend the rest of their lives behind prison walls. Justice was ultimately carried out, and the perpetrators received their punishment. But the law's judgment cannot bring Alexis back, nor can it heal the broken hearts of those she left behind. Behind the life sentences are lives forever destroyed, serving as a sobering reminder of the importance of maintaining self-control and protecting ourselves against the hidden storms that can exist within the human heart. Thank you for taking the time to watch until the very end of today's case file. Your support and your perspectives are the greatest motivation for this channel to continue researching, presenting, and reconstructing cases in the most truthful, objective, and respectful way possible. If you found this content valuable, don't forget to press the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any upcoming compelling true crime case files.